All right, let's unlock some secrets. Today we're diving deep into scrying.
Ooh, scrying.
You know that ancient art of using reflective surfaces?
Like crystal balls.
Yeah, crystal balls, but also think mirrors,
Right.
water, fire, even oil.
It's more diverse than people think.
Way more.
And scrying has been practiced for centuries, from Nostradamus to ancient cultures.
I've always been fascinated by Nostradamus.
The Egyptians, the Greeks, the
So
Celts,
many.
and the Persians. There's something timeless about
It's
this.
a human thing, right? To want to see what's hidden.
Exactly. And it's not about predicting the future, like in the movies.
No, no fortune telling here.
It's about tapping into a deeper awareness, that intuition we all have.
So how does it actually work?
Imagine you're in a quiet space, relaxed, and you've chosen your tool.
Okay, like a crystal ball or
A crystal ball, a bowl of water, even a candle flame.
just a regular
You
candle.
gaze softly at the surface, letting your vision blur.
And then what? Do you see things?
You observe anything that emerges. Images, symbols, colors, feelings, thoughts.
It sounds like dreaming while you're awake.
It's similar. And like dreams, the key is interpreting the symbols.
So let's say I'm looking into water and I see a bird.
Okay, a bird.
Does that mean I'm going on a trip?
Maybe, but not necessarily. Scrying is personal.
Right.
That bird could mean freedom for one person,
Okay.
a new beginning for another.
I see. So it's all about what resonates.
Exactly. It's like a conversation with your subconscious, the symbolic language.
The more you practice, the better you understand it.
Precisely.
Huh.
And you mentioned all those tools.
Yeah. Water scrying sounds mystical.
That's hydromancy. You gaze into a bowl of water,
Just a bowl of water.
sometimes with a crystal or an object to help you focus
Okay.
water in the unconscious mind. They're connected.
I can see that. Some even say to use rainwater collected under a full moon.
Ah, yes, for those extra vibes.
Now what about those black mirrors?
Those spooky Victorian vibes, right? That's catytromancy. Using mirrors, usually black obsidian or painted glass.
To block out distractions.
Yes, and to help you see visions. It's big in the Enochian tradition.
We'll have to dive into that later.
We will. Did you know mirror scrying was a Halloween tradition?
No way, really?
People would try to see spirits.
Makes sense. Halloween is when the veil is thin.
Exactly. Okay, we can't forget crystal ball gazing.
The classic.
But here's a twist. Some scryers prefer imperfect crystals.
Really? I thought they needed to be perfectly clear.
Actually, flaws can enhance the experience.
Interesting.
They act like prisms, bending light in unique ways.
Huh. So you don't need to spend a fortune on a perfect ball.
Not at all. Now, fire scrying, that's staring into flames.
That sounds intense.
It is.
Yeah.
Like nomancy. Probably the oldest form.
Why does that not surprise me?
Flickering flames, dancing shadows,
It's easy to get lost in.
and connect with your subconscious. We also have oil scrying, wax scrying.
Even cloud scrying.
I get this eye scrying.
Eye scrying.
Yeah, gazing into someone else's eyes.
Oh, like soul gazing.
Exactly. It can lead to deep connection.
Wow. So many approaches.
It shows how much humans want to understand themselves and the world.
It's pretty remarkable. So which method speaks to you most? Think about it, because next time we're diving deeper into how scrying helps with self-discovery.
We're getting personal.
Get ready to unlock that inner seer.
Exciting.
Okay, so we've learned about the different types of scrying, but how can this actually help us? Can staring into a bowl of water really lead to self-discovery?
Oh, absolutely. That's where the magic happens. It's like those images and symbols are messages from your unconscious.
So our subconscious is trying to tell us something.
It is, but it speaks in symbols and metaphors.
Like it's talking in riddles.
Exactly. And just like learning any language, it takes time to understand it.
So if I see like a swirling vortex of energy in my crystal ball,
Okay.
I shouldn't freak out and think a portal is opening up.
Probably not. Instead, ask yourself what that image means to you. Does it feel chaotic or maybe energizing? Could it represent change in your life?
That's where a good scrying journal comes in, right? One of our sources, Divination by Scrying, a second site mentions writing down what you see and then your interpretations.
That's a great technique. It helps you figure out your own personal symbol language.
That makes sense.
Plus, as you look back, you might see patterns you didn't notice before.
Like you're having a conversation with your subconscious.
It's an ongoing dialogue. The more you practice, the more you learn.
It's a journey. Speaking of journeys, let's go back in time and look at how scrying has been used throughout history.
Okay.
This isn't some new fad, right? This has been around for ages.
Scrying has a long history. Think about the Egyptian priests. They used scrying to talk to the gods to get guidance
Oh,
to
wow.
help their communities.
What about the oracles in ancient Greece? Weren't they using scrying to make prophecies?
Absolutely. They were highly respected. Their scrying sessions often influenced decisions, even the course of history.
Then in medieval Europe, it was linked with magic and witchcraft.
True. It shows how powerful scrying is. The power to tap into unseen forces.
It's both revered and feared. It's fascinating how it still draws people in today.
It shows that longing to connect with something bigger than ourselves, to explore the hidden parts of our minds, to seek answers.
Now, within scrying, there are specific traditions that deserve a closer look,
Right.
like the Enochian and Solomonic traditions.
Those names sound so mystical.
I know, right? Like they belong in a fantasy book.
Well, the Enochian tradition was developed by John Dee and Edward Kelly back in the 16th century. They used a black obsidian mirror and a system of symbols,
Oh, wow.
along with the Enochian language, which they thought was the language of angels.
Wait, so they were trying to communicate with angels?
They were, and their work is still inspiring people today. They thought scrying could open up higher levels of consciousness.
To receive divine knowledge.
Exactly. And then we have the Solomonic tradition based on grimoires.
Grimoires, what are those?
They're like instruction manuals for magic. They contain spells, rituals, invocations, even guides to create magical tools.
Okay.
In the Solomonic tradition, they would use scrying to call on spirits and angels.
So it was more about actively working with the spirit world.
Yes, more proactive.
Yeah.
And they also use wax tablets with symbols for this.
Some people might hear this and think, wait, isn't this dangerous? Summoning spirits and all?
Yeah, I can see why they'd think that. Both the Enochian and Solomonic traditions are complex systems with their own rules, and it's important to be respectful and understand the risks. But these traditions show us how humans have always wanted to explore the unseen world.
Right. And even if you aren't trying to summon anything, these traditions show how diverse scrying can be. It's not just about seeing the future.
No, it's a tool for self-discovery, for spiritual exploration, for connecting with unseen forces.
And the beauty is, you don't need to be a scholar or magician to do it.
Exactly. Just have some patience, an open mind, and the right tools. Anyone can unlock these secrets.
And speaking of tools, that's exactly what we'll talk about next time.
Yes, from crystal balls to black mirrors, there's a tool out there for everyone.
Stay tuned to find out which one's right for you. Okay, so we know what scrying is. We know why it's so powerful, but how do we actually do it? What tools do we need for this journey?
The tools are definitely part of the appeal, right?
Yeah, there's something magical about a crystal ball or a black mirror. So, for our listeners who want to try scrying, let's break it down. First, the classic, the crystal ball.
The crystal ball, usually made of clear quartz. But remember, those imperfections can actually make it better.
The cracks and cloudiness.
Yes, they can make the experience more unique.
So don't worry about finding a perfectly clear one.
Exactly. Now think about size. Smaller ones are easier to hold, bigger ones are more immersive, but not as portable.
And there are other crystals besides clear quartz, right?
Oh, yeah. Rose quartz is good for matters of the heart.
Because of its loving energy.
Exactly. And smoky quartz can help you find clarity.
I can see that. So many options.
It's all about what feels right for you.
Let's talk about black mirrors.
They do have a certain mystique.
A bit spooky, a bit occult.
Black mirrors, usually obsidian or black painted glass, they absorb light and create this void.
Perfect for scrying.
Perfect. It minimizes distractions and helps you see those visions.
And you don't need fancy obsidian, right?
No, any dark glass or bowl can work.
It's the intention that matters.
Absolutely.
What about water scrying? Do I need anything special, or can I just use a bowl from my kitchen?
A regular bowl works, but darker colors are better.
To help with focus.
Yes. And try using natural water sources like rainwater.
I've even heard of people using water from sacred sites.
Oh yeah, for that extra energy. And you can add things to the water like crystals or essential oils.
Is that just for atmosphere?
It can be, but certain crystals like amethyst are associated with intuition.
And essential oils can create a specific vibe.
Exactly.
We've talked crystals, mirrors, and water, but there's more, right?
Of course. There's fire scrying, gazing into flames.
The dancing light and shadows.
Yes. It can help you enter a trance-like state.
Sounds amazing, but I'm a bit scared of fire. Are there safer options?
Definitely. You can try smoke scrying with incense or herbs.
Watching the smoke for signs.
Yes. Or wax scrying, where you melt wax and pour it into water and then interpret the shapes.
So many choices. It's like a scrying buffet.
The key is to experiment and find what works for you. Don't be afraid to try different things.
As we wrap up this deep dive into scrying, what's the one thing our listeners should remember?
The tool is just a tool. The real magic is inside you.
Beautiful.
Connect with your intuition, trust yourself, be patient, and enjoy the journey.
Wonderful advice. So, dear listener, what scrying tool calls to you? What hidden truths are you ready to uncover? We've explored ancient traditions, different techniques, and the tools of the trade. Now it's your turn to dive in and discover the magic of scrying for yourself.